Zachariah Jackson, BASA News. Well, this morning I'm headed down to Washington, and came down here for inauguration. But it's going to feel a little bit different. I'm headed to the Smithsonian. Last time I've been to the Smithsonian, Barack Obama was president. But now I'm going down, and we're going to do a tour of the White House. I'm not going. I toured the White House 2011, I believe it was, and under Barack Obama. I'm not going in this time. I'm just going to wait to go to the Black Museum that I'm so happy that it's on the grounds of the Smithsonian. For so many years I used to travel, since 1980 actually, down to the Smithsonian Aerospace Museum, and then I would visit the Native American Museum. So it's going to be interesting to go to the African American Museum and just, enjoy it. It's 7th floor. So can't wait to get down there, and I'm sure after a few years, most museums take on a text of the museum that you can just walk right in. But now it's quite a crowd. So I'm happy to be here on down here in, I believe in Maryland right now. Made a stop, and I'm just so happy to be down, and I'm going to see out the museum and enjoy it. And of course I will be back, because every 2-3 years I come back to the Smithsonian anyway for the aerospace. But it's good to be able to come back to the Black Museum and visit the African American Museum. All right, just want to say goodbye, and I'll be back recording all day long and things, and just enjoying ourselves at the museum. Thank you. Bless you. BASA News.
Thank you.
Move over that way.
That's something that you can go back and tell everyone. That's right here. You understand up there? That's fine right there. Ready?
No.
Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
I'm back here. I'm down in Washington, D.C. BASA News, Zachariah Jackson. I'm at the Dr. Martin Luther King Memorial. I was here before. If you look on YouTube, I think 2011, you would hear, you would see that I visit the King Memorial. And I'm not going to do it today. I had the bigger camera, and I really went into all the grooves, all the things of the mountain that he's carved out of. But it's good to be back here and to revisit Dr. King right here in Washington, D.C. So I'm extremely happy. I'm on my way, or we're on our way to the African American Museum that's on the Smithsonian property, it's part of the Smithsonian. I've been coming to the Smithsonian since 1980, to the Aerospace Museum. So it's good to come down here to be able to go from the Aerospace Museum to the African American Museum. So, and I know that how Smithsonian do things is going to be done with class. So I'm anxious to get there, but we're going to stop many stops along the way before I think they open at 11 o'clock. So it's good to be down here. BASA News is here. So we're going to enjoy it. And I'm going to do a little scan with this camera of Dr. King. But I'm happy to be here, and YouTube family, Facebook, Twitter, just let you know that Reverend Zachariah is here in Washington, D.C. Okay. One second.
Micaiah?
I'm here in front of one of the literature of Dr. King. And, of course, as African American, we tend to always get into injustice business, no matter what it is. We're like a police force, and we always get involved in things.
How much do you pictures? How much you taking? He doing the report. I'm sorry.
Injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere, and that's how we feel. So we always get involved. People call us African Americans. We're never a bunch of troublemakers. It's not that we're troublemakers. It's just that we feel it because where a lot of people felt their pain in other countries, we felt our pain right here and to evolve through the pain right here in the United States and then still love the country and still love the people is quite an achievement, I believe. So we have achieved a whole lot since 1963, since those words that Dr. King etched in Alabama. So I'm happy again to be down here in Washington. This is like my third visit here, and I will visit over and over. And that's the beauty of it, having it here. I'll continue to come back. I remember when I first came, it was only standing room. You couldn't get through. There was people all over, but just like every other museum and every other memorial, it's going to take on the texture of come as you can. And as we are headed towards the African American Museum, all the enthusiasm that's behind it is probably standing room only. But there's going to be a time when it's going to take the shape of actual museum where you can walk through. You know, I've been going to the Aerospace Museum at Smithsonian for 30 years, over 30 years since 1980. So to be able to leave the Aerospace Museum, which I come every 2 years, and to go to the African American Museum is quite an achievement. I want to say thanks to President George W. Bush for his vision of it as President Commander-in-Chief, and to actually have it built right there on the Smithsonian property. And a lot of people that's not familiar with the Smithsonian wouldn't know what it means to actually have a museum that's incorporated with the Smithsonian Museum. That is quite an achievement. It's almost like the Olympic of museums in the United States. So I'm very happy, and we're going to stop at the White House. I'm not going to try to go in. I've been in it before, and I'm not going to try to go in this time. But I will be back, and I think that's what this place is about. It's about coming back and to collect yourself and to and that's what we do. So I'm happy to be here today and to share it with you folks on social media, Facebook, and everything. BASA News is here. We're probably going to be back for the State of Union address also. So it's good. All right. Cheerio. Should I say peace? We'll scan this wall. District of Columbia, 1959, the words of Dr. King. The beginning of the war. Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. A lot of times you hear me refer to him as Doc King. But to be sure, I'm talking about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Again, BASA News. I'm in Washington, D.C. today, and we're working our way to the African American Museum. Stopped at the Martin Luther King Memorial, and now we stopped, I think this is Constitution Avenue, and somehow we're going to be headed, some people are going towards the White House. Well, I've been to the White House many times, and right now I'm just going to focus my energy on going to the museum. But again, it's good to be here in Washington, this stage of power. And, no matter whether we in favor of the leadership or not, there's going to be other leadership, and I guess that's the beauty of it, that there's not one that's stamped into the stone, and so it's going to keep being changed, and years go by and people want to do different things, but it's good again to be down here. I think that maybe before this year's out, I may take an actual vacation. I've always wanted to take a vacation in actually Washington, D.C., so I can be down here and record and things of that nature. It's good to be here. And of course, because I'm going to the museum, and that right there is even greater. So again, Zachariah Jackson, I'm going to keep coming to you and just talking about, the museum and I can't wait to get inside. I'm trying to be patient and just, step by step. All right. Okay. BASA News. After touring the museum and looking at the slave ships and the chains and all those other things that they had, going through Jim Crow, knowing that's not who we are, talking about white folk and making everybody a master, which that's not true. But it's a good museum. I plan to come back and do another tour. Maybe 2 years from now when it kind of calmed down, the motions is off, and I can walk around. But this right here is water, and I'm going to show you some words of Sam Cooke. A change is going to come. Sam Cooke, 1964. He was a friend of Muhammad Ali. And then we turn to Dr. King's words over here. We are determined to work and fight until justice runs down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. Martin Luther King Jr., 1955. You often hear me refer to Dr. King as Doc King, but that's Martin Luther King I'm talking about. Then I come over here. I act no monument, proud and high, to arrest the gaze of the passers-by. All that my yielding spirit craves is buried me, not in a land of slaves. Francis Allen, what's that? Walking Hopper, 1858. I didn't even see this time. That's one thing, when you start rolling the camera, you gotta keep on. These are the words of Nelson Mandela. I cherish my own freedom dearly, but I care even more for you, for yours, freedom. Mandela, 1991. This right here is it. Just after touring the museum and still, and I want to say this right here too. I enjoy the museum. I was raised coming to museums that taught stuff like this museum has. And I want to say this here to the smaller museums. Don't give up, because you're doing a good job. And you're not that far off. If a lot of places in smaller museums I felt more, I could really feel it more. Here I just felt more visual, so far. So I just don't want the smaller museums to think that they're not doing a good job, because you've done a good job in keeping the word going and keeping hope alive. And I just hope that we get out and go see some of the smaller museums and support them. Because walking through this museum that's on the grounds of the Smithsonian and that is funded and run by the Smithsonian, the museums that I learned this history in is much smaller, private museums, but they got the message out. And let me say this right here, your message was good. Your message was good. So again, this is BASA News, Zachariah Jackson. Zachariah Jackson, BASA News. Well, I'm wrapping it up at the African American Museum in Washington, D.C. on the Smithsonian property. It's one of the Smithsonian museums. And I want to say I had a fabulous time. I think that a lot of young people should come, especially young people, identify with video, and internet, and things of that nature. They have a great time. I had a good time. I'm kind of between the old museum and the new museum. this museum had basically everything that one can imagine about our culture and about our story. So I think it's good. It's good. I mean, you can see it in the background. The African American Museum and the Smithsonian Park, Washington, D.C. Again, cheerio and goodbye, but if you get a chance, please visit this museum. It's a good thing, especially for the young people, because it really, I see the young people really engaged in everything, because they got a lot of high-tech stuff. There are a lot of things I had to, learn how to touch and how to move around and things like that, which, it's a little difficult for me, but I kind of learned my way. Some young folks helped me. But again, Zachariah Jackson, BASA News. Good day.